So we now know how to create a single Numpy element. What we're going to have a look at is how to create an array of these. So we're going to create a string array. It's done the same way. It's numpy np.array round brackets. And we know if we put a single element in here, that would just be an element on its own. But what we want is an array of them, and we use a square bracket, so it's the same as a list, and we can create a one-dimensional NumPy array of these. So I'm going to say that's a lot of data types, which it is. So it's the same as creating a list. They are comma separated, they're encased in a square bracket, and they have that round bracket around it because we are creating a NumPy array. If you print it out, it looks, for all intents and purposes, the same as a list. If we check its type, so that's string array .d type, it tells us that we have a Unicode string, which is our standard encoding system. So we can create a different array. If we do an integer array, round brackets, square brackets, comma separated variables, that will create us a integer array. If we ask its D type, it tells us integer 64. The same as when we're creating a single element, we can specify its type. So actually, I can say, I want you to be a string, please, by specifying its D type. And I've now changed that into a string. So if you print that out now, we can see that it is a set of strings. So this B that's printed here is actually ignored by Python, but it indicates that it should become byte in Python 3, which we're using. So you just have to kind of ignore that there's a B there. So you can create a float array in the same way. Let's do FLT array, and let's set that up, np.array, round brackets, to go into that square brackets to set up our array. And if we print that out, we have an array of floats. Notice here that it's not like a list in Python, which were comma separated when they're printed out. They're just separated by a space. And we can convert this. So here we specified when we created it, and we can convert it. If I want to change this into an integer array, I can just say, please, can you change my float array? So float array dot as type I. And that will create a new array under the variable name int array. And it will be the same as that, but it will be integers. So let's see what that looks like. And that just literally strips the decimal part off and takes the integer. And notice it doesn't do any rounding or anything, it just literally takes that first value. And we can do this with booleans, we can do this with complex numbers, any data type that you can use in a NumPy array, you can put in a NumPy array. So this is a one-dimensional array. We're going to have a look at how to create different dimensions later on. So when you're ready, move on to the next video and you can continue your journey there.